Congressman Adriano Espaillat from the 13th Congressional District. This is a special day in northern Manhattan because one of his own, one of his children, Scott Stringer, who was raised not too far from here, who grew up on the street, who had his first campaign for the great and late Bella Asper, who was his aunt, who was a great leader of the city in the 70s, comes back home. He comes back home to tell New Yorkers and to tell the folks in this community that he wants to lead this city in a different direction. And for many of you, this city is going through a very difficult time. There's garbage in the streets every weekend. We have several initiatives to clean up the neighborhood on our own because the city has failed us. But in addition to that, there are quality of life issues like drag racing, noise, excessive noise, and other issues that are very important to the quality of life of New Yorkers across the city of New York. Crime seems to be creeping up, and this neighborhood knows too well what that can mean, because there were the 80s and 90s, we witnessed the drug wars right here in northern Manhattan, where hundreds of people every year will get, over 100 people every year will get murdered in the streets of these neighborhoods. So we must not slip back to that era. It will be a tragedy to slip back to the 80s and 90s when crack ruled the city and death was present in every corner of this neighborhood. But this neighborhood has resiliency and strength, and it was able to build itself back up, get itself back up from its knees, dust itself up, and now is a neighborhood attractive to families from all over the country, really, to come and move here. But we must continue to move forward. The small businesses must continue to move forward. Families must rely on public school education and ensure that the kids get a quality education. Economic development is important for the rest of the city. Jobs must be made available after this pandemic. And no one is better equipped to do that than my good friend Scott Stringer. He is someone that has the experience, but also the creativity to make sure that the city continues to move forward. And that's very hard to find. Sometimes you find somebody with the experience, but their personality is like a black shoe, no personality at all. Somebody may be creative, but they don't have the experience. But this person has both. He has the experience and the creativity, the innovativeness to move this city to another level, to another decade. And so I'm here to endorse him for mayor. And this is an important endorsement. This is an important endorsement because this city is a very diverse city. And a mayor for the city of New York must be a mayor for all of his residents, all of his citizens. Not just for one pocket, the rich over the poor. Not just for one ethnic group or one racial group, not just for one gender, but for everybody. And he has a track record on ensuring that he works with everyone. He did represent the West Side for many years as an assembly member, and we were colleagues together. And he showed me his independence, his integrity, his unblemished integrity, and his ability to build coalitions. So now I see that he's taking this effort citywide. I see the coalitions he's building in the Bronx. I see the coalitions he's building in Queens, Brooklyn, Staten Island, and of course his home borough of Manhattan. So I'm happy to endorse him, I'm happy to call him my friend. Yo estoy orgulloso de estar aquí hoy para endorsar como alcalde de la ciudad de Nueva York a mi gran amigo, el controlador Scott Stringer, quien tiene las destrezas, quien tiene también la creatividad y la experiencia para asegurar que esta ciudad siga adelante. Esta ciudad enfrenta graves problemas de calidad de vida, Hay mucha basura en las calles. Los pequeños negocios están cerrando sus puertas. Los padres están con una incertidumbre de cómo van a llevar sus hijos hacia adelante con la educación pública de la ciudad de Nueva York. Los pequeños negocios aquí necesitan mucha ayuda. El crimen está subiendo. No queremos volver a los años de los 80 y 90. Por eso estamos aquí, para apoyar a alguien que conoce esta comunidad, porque es un hijo de esta comunidad, un amigo nuestro, el próximo alcalde de la ciudad de Nueva York, Scott Stringer.
¡Eso!
You couldn't see my big smile behind the mask during the congressman's remarks, but I am very grateful and very excited. And so I just want to say to all of you, thank you for joining us. And I am really thrilled to be here with a true trailblazer and a fearless fighter for New Yorkers in Washington. Adriano Espaillat's life story is an example of what New York City can be at its very best. A place where immigrants can not only make it, but rise to the highest levels of government to lead our country forward. Congressmember Espaillat never forgets where he comes from. When President Trump spouts vile, racist attacks against immigrants, Congressmember Espaillat is there fighting back every step of the way. I couldn't be more proud to have his support and friendship in this campaign. Because when Adriano stands with you, it's not just an endorsement. It's a commitment that he will hit the streets. He will fight for you. He will be a partner in building the coalition that is forming around the city. His endorsement signals that we can govern as a collective with all groups of people coming together. Now, I've known Adriano for many years. We served together in the assembly once upon a time ago. And when I'm at City Hall, we're going to form the kind of collaboration mayors and congressmen members must do to fully advocate for New Yorkers, to fight for them, their children, and our shared values. Because here's the blunt truth. So much of what we need in this city depends on Washington stepping up. We're lucky to have a strong congressional delegation fighting for New Yorkers in Washington. But to get the relief we need, we're going to need Joe Biden in the White House, and we're going to need our congressional delegation and mayor to be working hand in glove. And that's exactly what I'm going to do when I'm mayor. I'll fight right by their side, building on my friendship with Congressmember Espaillat. We share pride in this neighborhood. We share a conviction in our city's promise and that it can and must do better for its communities. We must acknowledge that we have a public health crisis, an economic crisis, and a social justice crisis raging all at once. As mayor, I'm going to bring leadership back to City Hall, and I'm going to manage the hell out of this city because I believe in this city's future. I believe that we can win because as a son of Washington Heights, where we are strong, we were raised to believe in our future. We have no shot to have an equitable recovery unless we understand the finances of the city, we understand the social justice movement in this city, and we understand that to be progressive means that you also have to get results. We've got to educate our children, build affordable housing, and make sure that our government meets the challenges, the unique challenges that we face today. A pandemic and a health crisis that discriminated against the most vulnerable people in our society. People in the Bronx, people who are Latino, people who are African American, people who have pre-existing health conditions. This is going to be a rebuilding that will be like none other we've ever experienced. But we're from Washington Heights, and we've seen long odds before. We've never backed down. And we believe in this city because it created who we are today. So with this endorsement, an endorsement that signals our coalition, I just want to promise the congressman that I'm going to make you and the people you represent proud. Because you represent the people who have had to endure so much discrimination, so much lack of resources, so much investment. And now, partnering with you, we're going to change the course of the city, and we're going to do it like we've never done it before. Thank you, Congressmember Adriano Espaillat, and we'll be happy to take any questions the press may have.